All right, I want to talk to you about the project plan of procedure. And this is where you're going to fill out and you're going to plan how long this project is going to take you. So I filled out a couple things over here on the left side, and you can label these however you want. So I started with the plywood, and I said, okay, I'm going to set it up on the CNC router. I'm going to cut the pieces on the CNC router. I'm going to dry fit my pieces together. Okay, when that's all done, I am going to then work on my face frame. And after I do my face frame, I'm going to start cutting out all the pieces and dry fitting it. I'm going to assemble it together. I'm going to sand it. And then I'm going to dry fit the face frame on the box before I glue anything. Then I'm going to assemble. I'm going to glue the box and case together. I'm going to attach the face frame to the box, assemble the drawers, and so forth. So this process can be as detailed as you want. Maybe you want some more things in here. So maybe instead of the face frame, you're actually going to say, okay, I'm going to rough cut my pieces 2 inches longer than they need. I'm going to pocket hole my pieces. Now the time frame we have is only a half-hour increments. So, if something's not going to take a half hour, then combine it together. So maybe rough cutting and jointing your pieces. Maybe that's a half hour. Or maybe, entering your stuff in the logbook and then rough cutting your pieces. So you can change these and you're going to put in what you want. And then each subcategory here, you're going to have, so like I have plywood, and then what I'm going to do with my plywood, my face frame, what I'm going to do with my face frame. So once you've got this laid out, and you can always add more, we can copy some of these and move them down or whatever we need to do, add some cells. But what we're going to do now, after we've got the things in there that we're going to cover, I'm going to take this cell right here. It says copy and paste this cell. So this is the cell I'm going to use. I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, okay, my plywood, I'm going to set it up on the CNC router. I'm going to guess that that's going to take, I don't know, probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I'm going to just paste that in there. So I'm just pasting the colored box in. So we're going to have this like line graph when we're done that shows, our blocks of time. So I'm going to cut my sheets on the CNC router. I don't think that's going to take very long once I get it all set up, maybe an hour at the most. That's with router bit changes, things like that. Dry fit my pieces together. This might be one that takes a little longer depending on how many hands you have. If you have people helping you, I'm going to say an hour. Then we're on to our face frame. Okay, so I'm going to cut out all pieces of the face frame and dry fit it together. Oh, that's probably going to take me a whole class. That's rough cutting, that's cutting them to finish size, jointing, all that stuff. Assemble the face frame, that's actually screwing it together, laying out our pieces, measuring their openings, things like that. Sanding the face frame, that's probably going to be about a half hour. We're going to dry fit the box and the case. So we have to dry fit, or we have to assemble the box. And then after the box is assembled with some clamps, and we're going to lay the face frame on top. So that's probably going to be in about an hour to make sure everything lines up right. And then we're going to be on to assembly. So we're going to glue the box and case together. So that's probably, by the time I glue and clamp and square things up, that's probably an hour. Attach the face frame. This is probably only about a half hour. Assemble the drawers. So that's, again, these have already been cut on the CNC router, so all we have to do is assemble them and put a bottom in there. So depends on how many drawers you have. Maybe you have 3 or 4 drawers. This might be a longer time frame. I'm going to put a half hour. Dry fit our drawers parts. Okay, that probably, I put that in the assembly. So I don't want that in the assembly. I'm just going to copy that cell that was next to there. So I didn't mean to put this in here. This is one of my titles. So I'm going to copy, paste that back. And now I'm going to grab my black box again up here in the corner and copy that. And I'm going to come down here. So I'm going to dry fit my parts together to make sure everything fits. Okay, maybe a half hour. I'm going to cut the drawer bottoms. This is probably going to be less, but I'm going to put a half hour. Depending on how many drawers you have, maybe dry fitting it's going to take a whole hour, and cutting the bottoms is a half hour. I'm going to glue and square up all my drawers. Again, if you have a lot of drawers, that might take longer. So you're going to go through and finish this out for the entire process. You're going to do it for all your building, your trim, your corner trim, your sanding procedures, your finishing, sanding in between clear coats, installing drawer slides, installing hinges, installing handles and drawer slide pulls, things like that. So you're going to fill this all out. you have approximately 62 spaces of things you can do and enter in there. You can be, you know, you want to kind of be moderately specific. So you can see, like, I have assembly my drawers and I just laid it out. Okay, I know I got to build drawers. So what am I going to do with my drawers? I know I got to build tops. So how many, you know, maybe the next is my top section. So I got to, you know, I got to cut my pieces and joint them and change the annual rings and line them all up. So, you know, you're just going to go through each process and fill that out, copying this square that's up here in the middle. And so you'll probably have to click over. So this was my example. You don't want to work in my example. You want to come over here to the procedure plan. You're going to click there and you have a blank one to fill out. So this will probably be the third tab, because my first tab will probably be a link to the video that you're watching right now. And then you can see my example and then you can fill your own out. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, again, please talk to your instructor.